Hello, my name is RonVrooman, and I'm with the Oregon Statewide Jural Assembly. A little while back, I found out that the word hello was a satanic greeting. Hell, oh. And I've been saying that all my life. It's just absolutely amazing to me. It goes along with everything else I know is a lie. Yesterday, I called up William and I said, I want to do a rant. And he contacted me back and said, do you want to rant at me or do you want it recorded? And I said, I'd like to record it. So he said to do it today at noon. Well, by now, today at noon, I'm no longer in a rant mood, but I'm a little bit prepared. And I'd like to say a few things that were involved in the rant. Donald J. Trump is in a contest with the deep state, which is the Democratic National Party and the Republican National Party. That's who the deep state is. And it is all of the bureaucrats that work continuously for the United States and its subdivisions. And let's throw in the Tea Party, the Libertarians, and the Greens. Kamala Harris is an anchor baby, born to aliens while on the United States. She is not constitutionally qualified. Now I'd like to skip down to the last line of the 12th Amendment. No person constitutionally ineligible for the office of president shall be eligible to that of vice president of the United States. Kamala Harris is not qualified to be the president or vice president of the United States of America, nor is she qualified to be the vice president or president of the United States, which are two different entities. So, we in the Oregon Statewide Jural Assembly went ahead and filed papers to be used as evidence in our grand jury. And we filed the papers against the managing people in the four parties that had a presidential candidate on the ballot in Oregon. And that was the Republicans, Democrats, Libertarians, and Greens. And then we filed against the Secretary of State, Bev Clarno, for treason. And the reason for that is if an old man like me on Oregon knows that she's not qualified to be the vice president or president, then these folks have to know it also. And the Secretary of State of all the other 49 states have to have the same information also. And very few people, a couple of civilians, filed charges for the same thing. They filed charges into the incorporated U.S. governance's court, therefore, nothing's going to happen there. And the sad thing about it is Donald Trump knew also, and he even alluded to it in a press conference about somebody was taking it to court that Kamala was not qualified to be on the ballot. But he had not enough courage to do anything himself about it. That's sad. Okay. The system that we're in now is not functioning as a constitutional republic. It is an industrial military. You ever heard that before? Add to it 501c3, 6, and 8, Republicans, Democrats, political action committees, legislative, judicial, executive, Muslim, communist, socialist, sexually perverted complex. and everybody knows it. And they pretend that it's not true. How can they make these pretenses is beyond me. But it's, what is it? Uh, Cognitive dissonance. I had it till I was 75. Of course, now I'm all righteous and understand, so I point the finger at somebody else and say, you need to straighten up. Here's something that goes along with that. The city of Portland is a subdivision of the county of Multnomah, is a subdivision of the state of Oregon, is a subdivision of the United States. Government is not incorporated. The whole bunch of them in the elected incorporated governance know this, and they do it anyway for money and power. Some that do it for power pretend they are good, but that's like cops. Let me read you what I think about cops. All cops know who the bad cops are. If you speak up or stand up, you get no backup. Therefore, they all close ranks with the thin blue line around the bad cops. There are no good cops, only cops that wish they were good. Misprison of felony. So, back to our constitutional Republican form of government. Amendment 11. The judicial power of the United States shall not be construed to extend to any suit in law or equity, commenced or prosecuted against one of the United States by citizens of another state or by citizens or subjects of any foreign state. Can you make out what that really says? The way I read that is, they don't want us to sue or take a political action in court against them. Now, I wonder why that is. But in any case, we've determined on Oregon that we must do it ourselves. The feds, nor the state, nor the city, nor the county is going to do it for us. They're just not. You got to do it yourself. So what we've decided to do is assemble. Now, our Oregon Assembly is known as the Oregon Statewide Jural Assembly. I think that there's another Jural Assembly because I met a guy named Guy in Lebanon who said he was working for Anna and he was in a Jural Assembly. And anybody that is for an assembly, whether it's a Jural Assembly or not, I'm on their side. Do it. However you want to do your assembly, do it. Get it on. I would like to see on Oregon 36 assemblies, and each assembly with the grand jury. That takes 45 people for a grand jury and jury pool of Oregonians to find remedy. And that's what we're looking for is remedy. We want to resolve this situation and remove the incorporated governance of Salem and return to a constitutional Republican form of government. We've determined that the way to do that is lawfully, and we did enough studying that we think we're right. Of course, I send a Skype to a friend of mine saying that the announcement that I sent to the DOJ and the FBI and the marshals and all of that about what we were doing, and we were going to provide a court's order this. I'm sure William will help me somewhere along the line and put a copy up so you guys can see it when he puts this out. But it says, by order of this civilian court of record, we made one on Oregon. It's the only one that I know of. I am, but known as Ronald Charles Vrooman, an Oregonian state national, non U.S. citizen, not within the jurisdiction of any subdivision, such as State of Oregon or its subdivisions, city or county of, is declared exempt from mask wearing, distancing, testing, vaccination, or detainment and arrest for these unconstitutional decreed violations of one's unalienable rights. Who the fuck they think they are? Corporate governance employees that violate due process of one of the people at large, such as the bearer of this order, will be individually prosecuted. And then it's autographed by the person carrying the card and dated. On the back it says, this court of record was established June 8, 2020, with docket number 0407-1776. It was filed with the U.S. DOJ, U.S. Marshal Services, FBI, State of Oregon's Attorney General, Governor, Secretary of State, and others. Our bona fides are in order. We're legit. We've done everything to the best of our ability, and nobody has rebutted a single thing we said, and we did it in living testimony in the form of an affidavit of truth. Should you have any questions, contact RonVrooman, clerk for this court, at General Delivery, Beaverton, Oregon, 97005, or RonVrooman38 at AOL.com. And I give both my phone numbers. One's a message phone, and I give my Skype address of Oregon Statewide Jural Assembly. And then I sign it as clerk of the court and stamp it and seal it and do the very best we can. And I sent a copy of that and what we were going to do to the FBI, Marshal, Attorney General, who else? 36 sheriffs, Provost Marshal, JAG for the Oregon. Come on. So all of these people were informed. It's not like we're going to go ahead and do this in secret. I got an answer back from the Deputy U.S. Attorney for Portland. I'm going to see if I can do this now. I'm going to bring up on my screen what I sent. And I sent to him what we were doing. And it was to Ellen Rosenblum and Terry Davey and Seth and Carl and attorney generals and cops and district attorneys and so forth all over. And it says, and all Oregon sheriffs got another email. Do you have any issues with this? You have 7 days to reply or you acquiesce. This communique is not intended to mislead, defraud, deceive, or threaten in any way, and is submitted in good faith and clean hands. I do lawful, not legal, and this is my best effort. I close with love, peace, harmony, and a prayer. A U.S. Marshal has determined that my prayer is not a threat. He then reneged on his word, which is only good one time. Praise the Lord and pass the ammunition. Then I got an answer back from Seth. Oh, I should have done better here. Okay, there it is. And it says, Ron, the exemption card or order, or whatever you call it, that you attach to your email has no lawful or legal authority or effect. It does not exempt you or anyone else from complying with COVID restrictions, like mask wearing in federal spaces such as the federal courthouse, a Social Security office, or the VA hospital. Should It does not exempt anyone from complying with COVID restrictions in state spaces. Seth. And I answered that with, good afternoon, Seth and Carl. I appreciate your response. I'll reply below. And I inserted in his text my answer in red. He said, the exempt card or order of whatever you call it, and a court's order is what we call it, that you attach to your email has no lawful. Actually, according to de facto law, Ex Parte Milligan has been implemented and the Lieber Code martial law is nullified on Oregon. You and many more acquiesced and defaulted to that. Our civilian court is the only lawful court on Oregon. All power is inherent in the people. Who do you represent? Then he says, or legal authority or effect. And I said, I deny that statement. He goes on with, it does not exempt you or anyone else from complying with COVID restrictions. And I answered with, correct. Our unalienable rights granted by our God and codified in our founding documents do that. Then he said, like wearing a mask in federal spaces such as federal courthouses, Social Security offices, or the VA hospital. And I said, should anyone infringe upon our unalienable rights after being notified by this card signifying our court's order, then that would be brought to our grand jury's attention for a true bill. Then he said, it also does not exempt anyone from complying with COVID restrictions in state spaces. And I said, again, correct. Our unalienable rights perform that function. All that you mentioned is color of law, which is unlawful and illegal, allegedly. Seth, you stand rebutted. We will move forward. And I signed it, Ron. Now let's see if I can get back. Yes, now I'm back. So we inform them what we're going to do, and we have all along the line. When we formed our assembly, we told them we were forming an assembly. We told them we were forming a grand jury. We even told them we wanted to hold our first grand jury meeting at 1000 Southwest 3rd Avenue in the Mark O. Hatfield building, a federal building that's on Oregon. It's not even a legitimate United States building. In the Constitution, it specifies exactly how the United States goes about obtaining land for forts, ports, and other buildings, and they never did it. It's what the guy at the title company said, Ron, it looks like private property sitting on Oregon. It's like a trailer house moved onto the site and the wheels removed and put on stands. And it's not movable, but it's not fixed to the land. It's just sitting on Oregon. Some thoughts I'd like to get across. Pragmatic persons, such as Donald John Trump, are persons willing to compromise their integrity for my freedom, liberty, and inalienable rights, as codified in our founding documents, for their best interest. We're doing it for your own good. A constitutional solution is to assemble, as in the First Amendment, on your state, with people that will do the work, people that will form a lawful grand jury and bring a true bill against these evildoers. On Oregon, we bring Article I, Section 1. We need people to populate an Amendment 7 jury of peers to bring forth the verdict that has no appeal in law in our Article III, one Supreme Court claiming original jurisdiction. There may be other solutions. However, this one works. It is we, the people, in assembly, forming a civilian court of record, implementing Ex Parte Milligan, which nullified Labor Code martial law. DOJ, FBI, U.S. Marshal Service, U.S. Marine Corps, State of Oregon, all acquiesced and defaulted. You will help your state assemble. You have a pulpit. It only takes 45 Americans on a state in a minimum of 42 days, and I think that could be cut to 21, to assemble and form your own grand jury. Contact me if you need any more help, because I only do Oregon. As all power is inherent in the people, this is more along the lines of an undeniable request. Our wish is your command. So the only thing needed for evil to win is for good people to do nothing. Therefore, if you consider yourself a good member of the people, and you do less than your best, you support evil. If you support evil, you are evil. I dealt with cognitive dissonance until I was 75. I am no longer doing that. However, it is rampant on the land of the coward and home of the slave. All of the states and territories of the United States are under Labor Code martial law except Oregon. We assembled, formed a civilian court of record, implemented Ex Parte Milligan, which nullified Labor Code martial law. They all acquiesced and defaulted on Oregon to the Oregon Statewide Jural Assembly Civilian Court of Record. A third-party beneficiary to the contract of the United States of America's Constitution with the United States is a position I find myself. It is an insurance contract for me and those such as me, bought and paid for by my forefathers for their benefit and for their posterity. I paid for some of it with my time in the Navy. More insurance for my family to benefit from, if we keep and maintain it. The donors paid the full price, and they are all dead. It is my responsibility to require a constitutional Republican form of government now. They have the responsibility of providing it. Petitioners have established the likelihood to succeed on the merits. Because the petitioners have asserted the Constitution does not provide a mechanism for the legislature to allow for the expansion of absentee voting without a constitutional amendment. That's one of the reasons that Donald J. Trump might win. A guy named McCullough wrote that. I say this works for the Second Amendment, mass social distancing, and anti-assembly. Just do it, folks. Thank you for your time. I'm out.